But क्या होता है कि you need to listen to yourself, but you can listen to yourself when you do the plan process and planning. So I had a process of 1.5 years, and I had enough data and information which gave me a confidence that I should. And I started. I started from my residence only, and today we are. I mean, we'll do this year about 2,000 crore business. So. uh,
Hi, welcome to another episode of The Angry Coach. Today, I am extremely excited to announce Mr. Yadav's presence along with us. Mr. Yadav is the chairman and founder of Genius Consultants Limited. This is a HR services, temp staff placement organization based out of Calcutta, with presence in 15 cities across the country, and dare I say, one of the leading players and one of the pioneers of this entire space in our country. Mr. Yadav, welcome to The Angry Coach.
Thank you, Vivek. Good morning to you, and good morning, everybody.
Mr. Yadav, I'm going to pick up a topic that starts right at your expertise, and this is change
Yeah.
and career development of with change. We have young professionals today who have this dilemma of what should I do? Should I switch my job? Should I switch my job after 2 months, 3 months, 1 year, and so on and so forth? Your thoughts and ideas around this?
Yeah. So, Vivek, this is the one topic which is around me for the last 30 years, because as a recruitment company, I have interviewed almost about 26,000 people during the last 30 years. And
26,000 people.
yeah, because that is my job, every day I have to interview. So while interviewing the 26,000 people, I have met junior people, junior level, middle level people, senior, even the top level people. And I have come across the people with the aspirations, whether to change the job or not to change the job, to stay with the company longer or to stay shorter, or just to change and come back in the previous company. So I think change is the necessity for human being. Change should be done, but the change has to be in a calibrated way, in my opinion. Just to give you an example, there was a gentleman, and he has worked with the company for 22 years. And after working 22 years, and he started as a very junior position, and he rised up to senior vice president. And he was handling the larger portfolio of the company. So when he came to me, he said, Mr. Yadav, मेरे पास और कुछ भी नहीं सीखने का है. I have done enough. I don't have now any challenge. I don't get excited, and I want to make a change, And since you are in this field, and you can get me a good job, so get me a good job. I want to make a change. So I asked him few questions, Is your company growing? Yes. Are you growing? Have you been growing? Yes. Any problem in your family because of the company? No. Do you get reasonable increment by the company? Yes. Are you happy with the increase in the portfolio and the responsibility in the company? Yes. Then I said, then why do you want to make a change? No, I'm not getting any excitement. So my answer to him was that, look, I'm working 30, that time I think about 22 years, in the company. So I said, I'm working for this company for 22 years. Believe me, I have every moment, I have some challenge and issues and problem. And then again, also I have happiness, At that time, Sachin, I think probably had not retired, So I said, Sachin is known as a god of cricket in India, तो he's doing the same job every day. वो एक बल्ला लेके निकलता है, मैदान में जाते हैं. He does the practice. And then after the practice, he comes back home. He may well have breakfast, lunch, and again afternoon he goes to practice, and then he goes to a tournament. He does the same batting, But if you interview him and talk to him, he will say, that every day I have a fighting day, either in terms of learning a new technique or doing something, So I think saying that, I'm bored, I'm not excited, is not correct, I think what is important that, if the company is growing and you're doing well, you stay. And he stayed in the company, and even today he is in the company, and he is the MD of the company, and he's doing
Wow.
very well.
Wow.
So my point is that, change should be made, but change you should make when the company is not growing. You do not have enough responsibility vis-a-vis to your education and qualification which you have. You do not have enough space to work vis-a-vis to the skill or the talent which you have, or your compensation is not good. So all these now, see, change should not be because somebody influences you. What happens, most of the cases I have found, the person is influenced either by the family or by the friends, and that's how he makes a change, and he lands into a job which he may not like, or maybe not according to his education or the background, and then he repents, why did I make the change? So change should be made, but it should be made calibrated ways, well thought, that I am changing for making a change in my career. I will be in a better position. I'll be able to contribute more in the company. It will give me happiness. I will exercise my all education and talent which I have. So that is how I feel that one should make a change.
I love this framework and I love the questions you posed to this gentleman. Let me try repeating them. The first one was, is your organization growing? The
Yeah.
second one was, are you growing with the organization? And then, are you any trouble in your family as a result of the organization, or any problems that you're having? And I think, are you compensated fairly for whatever you are doing? Anything
Yeah.
that I've missed?
No, no, I think these are the few important things I asked. Yeah.
And what it does is it allows me to ask myself these core questions and not seek a change just because I want to change something.
Yeah.
So I can't change myself. I can't change anything else in my house. I can change my environment. So let me change the job. And people make these very short, thought through decisions, like limited thinking decisions. And then very soon they have a CV which has got 2 months, 2 months, 2 months, 2 months. And then suddenly the number of offers will start going down because everybody thinks of this person as a risk.
Yeah. So that was, let's say that outsider, I gave the example. I have an example of many people, because 30 years we are running the company. I'm running the company, and there are many employees of ours who left Genius and joined some other company. And after working maybe 3 months or 6 months, a year, they wanted to come back, So whenever they wanted to come back, I personally I take interview of such candidate, because I want to know that why they left and what makes our thinking they are coming wanted to come. So I'll tell you clearly, there were 4 or 5 parameters I found. Why people wants to come back to the previous company.
Hmm.
See, all we work for what, obviously we work to get a compensation, because without compensation, our life will not run. So that is the constant thing for anybody, But most important is, uh, how you are getting treated in the company. So the treatment is very important. Treatment by the company in overall. Overall means what is the HR policy of the company, and treatment by the his superior. These two are very important for a person. So most of the people who came back to our organization, it was treatment by the organization. That means the framework of the HR policy, and the second was the treatment by the people who are the supervisor or his leader or the boss. So these two important factors brought back them to our company.
Very interesting point. So you're saying keeping compensation as something that has to meet whatever that person's expectations are or whatever is right as per the market. One is the HR policies of the organization.
Yeah.
Are the HR policies of the organization such that they want people to be coming to work daily, or are they restrictive in some manner? And the second element that I'm also hearing from you is, how is the person treated by his or her seniors?
Yeah.
Do they treat him with that right level of respect?
Yeah, so these two factors are very, very important, But even between the two, I think the boss treatment is very important because that is the one thing any person experience 8 hours dealing with him.
Right.
Like if a boss is changing that guy every moment or making his life hell or unnecessarily putting him in the pressure or illogical talks, so that makes a person to leave very fast from the organization environment. So as an organization, we have a counseling with all our leadership position, how to treat your subordinates. That is how the most of the people stay in the company. Even engineers, most of the people who are our vice president, general manager, or CEOs of the company, they are all have worked anything between 15 years to 28 years in the company.
Wow. Wow. That is quite a credible record. Now,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
very curious, Mr. Yadav. When I talk to managers, no manager says that he or she is a bad manager. No manager tells me I ill treat my people, for example, right?
yeah.
And yet we do have reportees and yet we do have employees who complain that I am being mistreated or they will leave because of exactly these same reasons. So, where do you think this gap has started coming in?
Okay, so the gap, Vivek, in my opinion, is see, any who becomes manager, when somebody works about anything between 5 to 7 years in an organization, and he learns the skill how to do the job, then company will give him a chance that okay, now that you have been doing all the task of the organization, now you lead the people and get the job done through them, get the task done through them. So the first requirement for a manager is that he must know the task which his subordinate will do that. If he does not know that, then obviously his demand will be whimsical, unpractical. So if I know the task, if I know that okay, this machine can produce X amount in X many hours and in a X ways, then then I will tell the guys that okay, this is the standard, or little beyond the standard you work on this. But if I don't know, then I may set something which is beyond the standard, or I may set something which is far below the standard. And that is where the mismatch comes. So in my opinion, the manager first of all should know the task which subordinate is supposed to do. Secondly, he has to be fair in dealing with him. Thirdly, he need to be approachable, because no matter whatever you tell your subordinates, it is bound that he will make some mistakes, he will have some queries, he will have some questions, and if he is hesitant to come to you, then there is a big problem. If he is not hesitant, that means you have made yourself so approachable that the person feels okay. Let me ask my boss, then I'll take the next step. So he comes to you, okay, boss, अच्छा इसमें ये problem, इसको हम क्या करें? The boss says, okay, you do like this way, and if you have given him the right direction, he does it. Then he gets further enthused. Okay, so my boss is very good. If I have a problem, I can always approach to him. So knowing the task, being approachable, being fair, being communicative, and being little smiling makes a good boss.
Makes a significant difference to everybody. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think that's a very fair point. So, what I'm hearing from you is that as I make a change from an individual contributor to a team manager, right, there's a
yeah,
pressure on me to get work delivered from others.
yeah.
And in that pressure, I should not let that pressure scum me. And second, I've got to know what the activities actually are and be able to therefore guide my people in the right way, make them get early wins. And as I get early wins, people will start performing more and more.
Absolutely, absolutely.
You shared a very interesting data point with me, which is you've got your people who've been with you for the last 15 plus years, if I'm not mistaken. Correct.
Yeah,
You've also had a data point where people like to come back to your organization and you interview them personally before you induct them back into the organization.
yeah.
Um, First, when you interview them personally, what do you look for in these people, right? What are you curious about in these people? That's one. And second, what is your secret of keeping people for 15 long years? It's not an easy job.
Okay. So first, let me address, why I interview. In fact, not only I interview the people who comes back, final interview, even as of now, I have been running the company for 30 years, final interview of any candidate in the company, I will see it. I may see for 1 minute, I may see for 10 minutes, depending upon the positions. But the candidate who wants to come back to our organization, who has already worked, who was our ex-employees, I'm more curious. I'm more curious to know that what is the mistake we made that he left us. So, I want to plug those mistakes. Because, see, as an organization, you will never know that what mistake you are making, at least from the employee angle, unless he tells you, and he will tell you fairly when he has moved away from your organization. He will not tell you fairly when he's in your organization. In your organization, boss is always right.
True.
So I am interested to know that what mistake we made when he left us. Secondly, the organization which he went there, what are the new things he did? Because 90% chance is that he's joining our competitor one day. And if he's joining our competitor, then I must know that our competitor, what are the good things are doing, and what are the shortcomings they have, to position ourselves. And then finally, knowing these two, I take him back and I start improving in our organization from the angle of HR policy and from the angle of how do I again penetrate market from the competitor angle. So these are the two ideas I have when I interview, when I take them back.
Right. How interesting. And you touch base at least once with every person who is joining your organization, even though Genius consultants are now such a big, huge firm across.
Yeah.
Wow. And
so Vivek, I have every day 3 to 4 interviews, every day. But that is somewhere in the evening around 6 o'clock it takes place. So maybe that time I'm in the car, or maybe in the house, or maybe in the office. But I spend about half an hour. But that half an hour is very important, because the message to all the people are that, look, I'm seeing, so you can't take wrong people. Many organizations you will find the relative, the friends of the people join the organization. We ensure that not come, because everybody knows that I will take the interview. So getting into the company, wrong people, chances are less. And I have always believed that one wrong person is equal to destroying the 10 good people in the organization. So I want to cut that, and because of that, I do this.
One wrong person in an organization destroys 10 people, and you as a custodian of the organization therefore feel it is your responsibility to make sure that only the right people start coming inside.
Yeah.
I think a lot of us can take so many lessons from just this few statements that you have made over here, sir.
Yeah. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Now, you talked about the junior level and a few questions over here, right? Salary is something that I keep hearing is a dominant reason, and especially at a younger career level, correct? Somebody says, hey, Vivek, I'm getting a 20% hike, so then why shouldn't I shift? So what if it's just 2 months in this organization? 20% hike is a lot for me at the stage at which I am. And then after another 6 months, this person gets another 20% hike somewhere else. Right. And then they start shifting like this. How do you see this situation?
There are two set of people, One set of people are there who are the graduates, and other set of people are there who are the postgraduates.
Yes.
So let me address, usually the graduates, when they come into the job world, they will get a job with a salary which is just little above the minimum wage. If the minimum wage is, let's say, 18,000, he may get about 20,000. If minimum wage in a state is, let's say, 12,000, he may get 13,000, 14,000.
Correct.
And the second set of people are there who are the postgraduates. The postgraduates normally comes from any institute. So every institute have a campus interview. So usually the first 30 or 40 people in terms of rank, they will get picked up by a company in the campus itself. The remaining people, they come into the field in terms of finding a job through a consultant or direct applications or the ad which has come or through the portals they get.
Correct.
So in my opinion, when you get a job, see what happens in India. Like for me, I was a BSc graduate, so and I was always looking for a engineering, but I read one article in Onlook, and those days there was a magazine called Onlook. I'm just giving certain examples to come back to this answer to this question. So I read an article in Onlooker. There was a magazine called Onlooker in our time in 70s. Of course, nowadays the Onlooker is not selling. So there was an article about sales executive, and I was influenced by that. That sales executive is a high-paying job. It's a good job. You get chance to travel. You get chance to see the various state and towns in the country.
Right.
And I was influenced. So although I did BSc, and when I was in the college, I was always wanting to get a job in the engineering field or related to BSc, something. But when I read that article, my last day of exam, and I gave application to, I think, 6 companies only for the sales job. Only for the sales job. And I was called by Johnson & Johnson, which makes baby powder, for an interview. And I was selected there, and joined them. So although I was aspiring to get into engineering or something like the chemistry or physics oriented job, but I landed into sales job. So what I'm saying, trying to say that, see, as a graduate or a postgraduate, graduate particularly, we are just a mold, and that mold can take any shape by some influence, by some information or something, So that happens with all of us, particularly with the graduate. By the time you do the postgraduate, you meet so many experienced professionals who come to your campus to give the lectures,
Correct.
and you have 2 hours to meet with many people, so you are better prepared, So your crystallization to get a job is far better than the graduates. Now, both of them, when they get a job, हो सकता है कि initially some people may land up a right job, some people may not land up not a right job. Those who does not land up a right job, they may be with a less salary. अब देखो लेस सैलरी कहाँ होता है, छोटे छोटे कंपनी में लेस होता है, लेकिन हमें अब सी देयर इज अ ट्रिमेंडस प्रेशर ऑन अ पर्सन, बॉय और अ गर्ल व्हेन ही ग्रेजुएट्स और पोस्ट ग्रेजुएट्स टू गेट अ जॉब, बिकॉज घर में क्या बोलना है, नौकरी नहीं मिला, नेपाड़ा में क्या बोल रहा है कि हमें नौकरी नहीं मिल रहा, नौकरी नहीं मिल रहा, सो इट्स अ स्टिग्मा, सो ओवरकम द स्टिग्मा, यू जस्ट लैंड इनटू अ जॉब. So when you land into a job, you are less paid or you don't like the job, I think couple of changes is advisable, to get a right job. So initially to make a couple of changes to get a right compensation and to get a right job, in my opinion, is absolutely right, But every change you make, you should understand that what mistake I made and what correction I should do, So by the time you make the third or fourth change, you should land into a right job. And you have corrected your compensation, you have corrected your the job which I am really looking for to do that, So these are the corrections I would say. In my opinion, first few jobs is a correction for salary and also correction for what I am looking for, So that is acceptable and that is, in my opinion, right.
Very right. So what you're, and a very good answer actually, and a very thought through journey on this one. What I'm hearing from you is the way the campus placements or the selection process in our country happens. The initial couple of changes might be adjustments and corrections to what I like, what kind of compensation is something that I should be expecting based on my skill sets, based on the way I'm doing my work. Once I've arrived at that sweet spot, that is a time for me to then start building my career. And then I shouldn't be looking at opportunistic salary increments, but am I making a long-term impact, which I can talk about somewhere else and make a leapfrog then? Is that fair?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Wow. Fantastic. Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Yadav. I'm going to draw us to another element of your journey, sir. And
Hmm.
this journey is your entrepreneurial journey, right? 30 years back in Calcutta, I am fairly certain entrepreneurship, starting up on your own, leaving a job wouldn't have been uh, an easy decision. What made you do it? What keeps you continuing this journey?
Okay. Um I think entrepreneurial journey, in my case, started with an accident.
Okay.
The company where I was working, I was a general manager, and I was handling a company which is about 120 crore company. So I was complete in charge, all the departments, sales, marketing, except the accounts, and I was doing very well. But my boss, he was a little high-tempered person.
Okay.
He went, so he went to Delhi, and and there was, I think, fraud. So he sacked all the people in the office, and he sacked many people in the factory. And he came back and he told me, RP, I have removed so many people, and you go back and you build a team. So
Okay.
I went, yeah. So
Okay.
I flew to Delhi, and I
Uh,
stayed in the Bikram Hotel, and I contacted many consultants because I had a timeline for in 2 weeks, 10 days. 10 days I have to be there, and in 10 days I have to build a team. So I contacted as many as consultant possible in Delhi,
okay.
and
Hmm.
I started doing the interview in the hotel itself and some in the office. And fortunately, 70-80% of the team which I was supposed to build up, I could recruit, and some people I could make them join, and some people will join next month. With that success, I came back. But while conducting the interview, uh, I felt that this is the business I should take up in my life, and I can make it large. I can make it international one in my lifetime. And so, with that determination, I came back. And my father was also in employment exchange. I saw that how much respect he gets in the village or in the pada where I stay. Because he used to
Hmm.
get the job. Some people उनको employment exchange में ले गया, interview करा दिए, और उनको job मिल गया in the government. So he was a very respected person in my village. Although he was on a junior position, but he was very very respected person in my village, in my pada. So that was a big shadow on my life, that respect can be earned. So जब मुझे ये opportunity मिला, then I thought कि ये तो मेरे father जो मेरे कर रहे हैं वही job मैं करने जा रहा हूँ. So then
Ah.
maybe it will be good. And then I also felt that this is, and I was a good manager. So I came back. I started doing the study and my preparation. So it took almost 1.5 years. I had all the cuts of the appointment. I became consultant, impaneled consultant with another consultant only on the Sunday. So
Okay.
Sunday I used to conduct the interview. I used to understand the processes. And finally, after 1.5 years, I resigned and I started. So when I wanted to start, there was an objection from the everybody except the wife,
Hmm.
family, friends, relatives, because I
Hmm.
was highly successful in the job. Why you want to start अच्छा job है, क्या जरूरत तुम्हें है?
Hmm.
But क्या होता है कि you need to listen to yourself,
Hmm.
but you can listen to yourself when you do the plan process and planning. So I had a process of 1.5 years, and I had enough data and information which gave me a confidence that I should. And I started. I started from my residence only, and today we are. I mean, we'll do this year about 2,000 crore business. So. uh, it's a very exciting and successful journey I had through that.
Wow. So you had a challenge, you experienced it yourself, and you said, oh, can I make a business out of it? And that's what you did. And today it's almost going to be a 2000 crore company. That
Yeah.
is indeed success if I've ever heard of anything. Got it. Tell us about the journey since then.
Okay.
After you started, what was the journey like till today?
Okay. So when you start an entrepreneurial career, particularly service industry,
Right.
the most important are the people. People, processes, ethics, professionalism, and attitude of service to the customer. There are 5 things in my opinion. If it is service industry, because I don't have a plant, machineries, or any product, it is a services. So
Correct.
the most important importance I gave to the people. So in those days, I used to recruit people who were 60% and plus marks. Those days we had only, I think, 3 or 4 MBA institute after IIM in Calcutta. We had ISWBM and a couple of institute like IMM and IBMR. So my object was to take the people only from those, 60% plus marks and that. And then I also visit the house of the candidate. How is the family, the processes in the house, their way they look at the life, the discipline in the house. And with that, I used to take the people. So I had a very talented people in the company. Second, I built the process. I had even the first year I had a HR policy, maybe of 1 page, कि हमारा क्या पॉलिसीज रहेगा, आइदर इन टर्म्स ऑफ अटेंडेंस में हमारा क्या पॉलिसीज है, हम कंपनसेशन क्या आता है, हमारा ट्रैवल क्या है, कन्वीनियंस क्या है, few 1 page policy. So the people who joined, they understood that I have an ambition, I have an objective, and with that objective I am moving. So I used to talk that मैं बड़ा बनाऊंगा, मेरे पास ब्रांच होगा, बिजनेस बड़ा होगा. Obviously they used to laugh at the back of me, not in front of me. In front of me everyone will say, yes sir, करना है sir. But in the back they used to say, which they talk right now, because some of the people are with me even as of now. So they say, yes sir, आप लोग पीछे में बहुत हंसते थे, क्या ये पागलपन है, ऐसा नहीं होता है. But then with the same people, going to the client, meeting with them, keeping the commitment, diaries. So with that, we started, and we kept on adding the product. Initially, it was a recruitment. Subsequently, we went to outsourcing. Then we went to compliance, payroll, background check, various products. We kept on adding. The first branch I opened in Chennai, it was running in loss for 2 years. So people used to tell me कि क्या जरूरत है तुम्हें खोलने का, लॉस करने का. I said, if I don't open a branch, how do I expand geographically? Because a company has to expand geographically and product wise and revenue wise. अगर नहीं बड़ा बनाता हूँ, then what space I give it to my people? Why people will stay with us? So when you build an organization, you have to ensure that people is also growing with you, product is also growing with you, company is growing geographically, company is growing in terms of size, in terms of profit, in terms of image building in the company. So all these I was looking at, that. So हमने 2 साल के बाद में, then Chennai became profitable after 2 years. Then we went to Delhi, then we went to Bombay, and then many offices we opened. And we kept on adding the product. We kept increasing the customers and cross-selling the product. And finally, where we landed here. But the most important is to have a good people, processes in the company, ethics, professionalism, good HR policy, attitude to serve to the customer, approachable, always approachable. Do not be complex and difficult personality, in my opinion, because complex and difficult personality only makes people to go away from you. It will not attract good people with you and to stay with you. So I didn't have the complex and difficult personality. I always had of course I was formal, but I was approachable. I was as easy to the people to listen to their problem and to give a solution to them. These are a few things I practiced, and it was successful.
Wow. You make it sound so easy. You make it sound so fun. I'm sure there would have been so many learnings, so many failures in this path as well, right? Can we hear some of your stories of learnings?
Yeah. One of the failure I'll tell you. So there are many failures, and in fact, in my opinion, Vivek, failure is every day. Every day we have some failure. Particularly when you become large. Now we are large, So every day we have some bad news and we have some good news. But good news is more than the bad news. So that is why we are growing, One of the failure which I faced just in the few months of the working, See what happened? I just had 70,000 rupees from my PF and whatever I had accumulated, cash in hand. And with that was my capital. With that, I had to run the company. So I advertised. There was a magazine called Business World. That is even today it is there. तो उसमें last few pages में appointment का ऐड आता था. So I thought कि मैं अगर इसमें देता हूँ तो people will think it is a good company, good startup, and let me go to this company. And even the candidates will think that it is a good company to work with. And then I gave also in the state, because our raw material was the buy data, and those days buy data was the hard copy, it was not soft copy. There no portals were there. So मैंने दो जगह किया, Business World and Statesman. And मैंने एक रिटायर्ड आदमी को लिया जिसके पास में स्टेनोग्राफी टाइपिंग मशीन्स था, बिकॉज आई नीडेड somebody who has a typing machine, क्योंकि मेरे घर में अगर टाइप करता है तो वो साउंड से ही मेरा लैंडलॉर्ड विल नॉट अलाउ. आई वाज ऑपरेटिंग so he has to type in the home. So the ad which I gave that the person who has got typewriter should apply. So I got only one application.
Achha.
And he had just retired from Voltas as a stenographer, and he has the typing machines.
Okay.
So I recruited him. He was Mr. Raman. He is no more there. So he was there, and I had one guy who was a salesperson. So we were 3 people. तो उनको सैलरी मुझे देना पड़ता था. Then we made the stationery. We opened the bank. तो बैंक आप ओपनिंग करने जाएंगे तो उसमें कुछ पैसा देना पड़ेगा. I had to take the trade license. So some expenditure in taking the trade license. तो मिला जुला करके almost सारे पैसे खत्म हो गए. By the time I came in the third month, I was very upset. मेरे पास कोई पैसा नहीं है, अब मैं क्या करूं? So I was very sad. But उन दिनों ऐसा मोबाइल वगैरह नहीं था. We used to have a landline in the home.
Right.
और मैं घर में ही था. तब शाम को 6 बज रहा था. तो I got a call. ट्रंक बजा. मैंने उठाया. There was a gentleman. He was my friend and he was the CEO of the company. उन दिनों Vegetable Products Limited नाम का एक कंपनी था. So I had given them company secretary का. मैंने उनको बाइट दिया था, इंटरव्यू कराया था. So उनका कॉल आया. He said, R.P तुम्हारा वो सिलेक्शन हो गया है और वो ज्वाइन भी कर लिया है. इमीडिएट ज्वाइनर था, उसने ज्वाइन कर लिया है. तो तुम बिल लेके आ जाओ कल और मैं तुमको कल ही पैसे दे दूंगा.
Wow.
So मैंने फोन किया इमीडिएटली माई टाइपिस्ट को, स्टेनोग्राफर को, रमन जी तुरंत आए मेरे घर में. मैंने उनको डिक्टेशन दिया. तो उन दिनों ये भी आइडिया नहीं था कि मैं फ़ोन में दे सकता हूँ. तो घर में लेके गए, वो बिल लेके दे आए. मैं नेक्स्ट डे सुबह में टाई वाई पहन करके पहुंचा उनके यहाँ बिल लेकर के. उन्होंने मुझे दिया. सो दैट टाइम इट वाज 33,000 रुपीज. After that, I never looked back. This is one instance, which was demoralized me, and I was very upset क्योंकि मेरे पास कोई भी पैसा नहीं था उस वक्त में. And तब मेरे ख्याल से 21 तारीख था 3rd month का, और 1 तारीख को मुझे सैलरी देना था, और मेरे बैंक में पैसा नहीं है, और 2 आदमी को मुझे बहुत ज़्यादा तनख्वाह नहीं था. बट उन दिनों उतना ही पैसा बहुत बड़ा पैसा था. And when you don't have, you are very upset.
Correct.
So in my opinion, and when you are fair, and when you are good, and when you are on the way of making something good, I think God also helps you. कहीं ना कहीं गॉड होते हैं और वो सुनते हैं कि ये बंदा ठीक है और इसको हेल्प करना चाहिए. इन माय ओपिनियन उस टाइम में शायद गॉड, आई एम बिगेन लिटिल इमोशनल, शायद उन्होंने मुझे आके हेल्प कर दिया.
Wow, what a journey. What a journey from that first check of 33,000 rupees to 2,000 crore rupees today. Incredible. Incredible. And you're so right. I think this journey छोटा थोड़ा करके you keep moving forward. Right. Mr. Yadav, I'm sure और बड़े learnings रहे होंगे इस journey में. Right.
Yeah.
Versus focusing on the incident, how do you handle failures, or how do you handle everyday failure that keep happening? You must be getting disappointed on so many areas. Some things not happening, some business not converting, some person not being as you'd want them to be. How do you handle these daily disappointments?
Yeah, okay. See, when your organization, whether it is small, medium, or large, every day, because you set certain standard for everything, and you measure yourself always against the standard. and chances are that we struggle to meet the standard. We always, तो standard क्या क्या होते हैं. अब मैंने टारगेट किया कि इस साल मुझे 600 नए क्लाइंट लाना है.
करेक्ट.
तो ऑब्वियसली हमें पर मंथ 50 क्लाइंट लाना है. और 50 की जगह में किसी महीना में 30 आते हैं, किसी महीना में 40 आते हैं, किसी महीना में 60 आते हैं. When it is 30, you call the team, you discuss with them, you guide them, you change your guard, you tell them you should do this way, you contact this way, or they are lacking the knowledge, you try to give the knowledge, and like that. So this is one example. Second example is suddenly you get a notice from a client, your services is not required. We are terminating your contract. For example, I'll just give you one example. There's a large company which has, this happened about 6-7 years back, a large company, which Nivea is a large company. So, they said, we don't want to work, although we were working with them for 5 years, so we don't want to work with you. Why? Because हमें एक ऐसा दूसरा सर्विस प्रोवाइडर मिला है जो हमें नया टेक्नोलॉजी दे रहा है. तो व्हाट इज द टेक्नोलॉजी, तो उसमें क्या होते हैं, जितने भी डेमोन्स्ट्रेटर होते हैं शॉप में, बिकॉज इट इज अ प्रोडक्ट विच इज अ कॉस्मेटिक प्रोडक्ट, और टेलीकॉम प्रोडक्ट आते हैं. सो दुकान में वो जाकर के डेमो देते हैं, तो दे आर नोन एज अ डेमोन्स्ट्रेटर. तो वो डेमोन्स्ट्रेटर का अटेंडेंस ऑनलाइन होगा. वो जो कुछ भी सेल करेंगे वो मुझे शाम तक मुझे मिल जाएगा, और उनका जो अटेंडेंस होगा दैट विल बी कैप्चर्ड immediately on the spot. So मैंने I flew to Bombay, I met with them and I said, sir मैं आपसे 5 साल से काम कर रहा हूँ, अगर मैं ये कर दूँ, would you like to stay with us? Yes, मैं क्यों छोड़ूंगा, आपके साथ 5 साल काम कर रहा हूँ, और अगर ये मुझे मिल जाए तो I said then you give me please 3 months time. So I got 3 months time. So we had our own technology department, system department. We came back and we developed such software. In just about 1.5 months, we went back to the client and we saved the client. That client is still with us. So like that, losing a client, getting notices from the client, then compliance issues are there. You have so many compliance, PF, ESI, many compliances, statutory compliance, service tax are there. So obviously, when you do the compliances, there will be some gap. It will not be intentional. It will be by mistake. So why those mistakes are done? But what is important? Whatever mistake or gap or challenges we get, in my opinion, everybody in the organization has to understand that we need to be accommodative with the people to understand that, okay, you are making a mistake, no problem. Let us sit down together. Let us resolve this, Let us learn the new way and let us make a change, And let us see that we do not repeat this mistake. So that keeps on happening, whether losing a client or compliances issues or not meeting the target or losing the people. Even you will find in some month a large number of people have resigned in the organization. That becomes, क्यों resign किया? So we do the soul searching, भाई हमारे HR policy में क्या गलती है, or what our competitors are offering, what we are not offering, we look at back, and we correct ourselves. Okay, these are the gaps are there. For example, let's say that our competitor are having the flexi time to come into the attendance. So we found that we don't have a flexi time. So okay, we will introduce flexi time. So we introduce the flexi time. So in my opinion, failure, challenges is a part of human being. हमें भगवान भेजे ही हैं इसलिए कि तुमको हर दिन कुछ ना कुछ इश्यूज आएंगे, तुम उसको रिजॉल्व करोगे और आगे बढ़ोगे. दैट इज व्हाट वी आर मेड एज ए ह्यूमन बीइंग. इवन घर में भी होगा, आप शादीशुदा हैं तो मिसेस के साथ में एवरी डे सम और इश्यूज आर प्रॉब्लम आर देयर, एंड दोज इश्यूज आर प्रॉब्लम आर ओनली that I am doing this way, why not you will do that, or you are doing this way, why I am not. So both are correcting every day and making better in the household, and finally you stay together, but you correct yourself and remain and make a good family, but if you don't correct ourselves, and that is where the separation takes place. In my opinion, I think so long both husband and wife and the children, they kept on correcting, and they understand each other कि हमने ये mistake किया, okay, let me correct it. You have made a mistake, you are also correcting. हाँ, कोई हो सकता है कि 30% करेक्ट कोई किया है, कोई 70% करेक्ट किया है, but there is a forward journey. I think forward journey has to be always in life, in the personal capacity and even in the organization. And so long this happens, in my opinion, the company will grow, the person will grow, and the family will be happy.
So what I'm hearing from you is there will be failures, there will be setbacks. Use them as opportunities to solve. So in the example of the client you gave, Acha, what can I solve? In the example of the HR policy, Acha, what do we need to change? Versus remain, नहीं हम ऐसे ही करते हैं, हम ऐसे ही करेंगे. अच्छा मेरे को ठीक क्या करना है? मेरे को क्या change करना है? And along with that, a very sharp ear to what's actually going on. That becomes very important. तो कोई चलेगा, अच्छा चलो ठीक है, कोई बात नहीं भी चलेगा, क्या कर सकते हैं? Versus that, okay, what opportunity is this opening up for me to solve?
Yeah, I think in my opinion, one has to be connected with what we are doing. So we use a word, not unlike many companies, they talk that there is a review. So we don't call it as a review, we call it as a backed. So backed form is business, audit, counseling, and training. So that means we do the audit, we do the counseling also, and we do the training also. So every review is a back. Now, in the backed, it is not only, suppose I am doing the backed with the business development people. So it is not only that how many clients you have brought, which are the clients you made, which are the successes, what are the size of the contract, what is the margin in this contract. Not only that we discuss, but we discuss other areas, other areas, that, okay, so how many industries are in the town, in that industry, how many new companies are coming up. Then whether our people, which area they are weak, whether they have a knowledge of our product, do they have a knowledge of our industry, do they have a knowledge of the compliances which is taking place, do they knowledge how to make the good contract, whether they require the training. So there are 8-10 parameter. So when you talk 10 parameters, then there is a holistic approach to address the problem and to give a right solution, or maybe appropriate solution, or maybe closer to the problem solution to the people, rather than only discussing on one, तुमने क्यों नहीं किया, तुमको तो ये करना चाहिए था, okay, then you are not right, or firing the guys. I don't think that works in my opinion. I think we need to take a holistic approach to fix a problem in the organization.
Right. Very, very well said, Mr. Yadav. Mr. Yadav, I realized we have overshot our time, but if you will permit me, I have 1-2 more areas that I'd like to dig with you in.
Yeah, sure.
I think I'm going to bring our focus onto wellness at this point of time, right? Anybody who talks to you, anybody who listens to you can very easily be mistaking you to be a young 25, 26-year-old strapling, the amount of energy and passion that you carry in your voice. What's the secret behind this?
Okay. So Vivek, I'm 66. I'm not young. Okay. But I'm definitely very fit. But, why, a couple of things, one has to realize at the beginning of the career or beginning of the life itself, that no matter whatever money you earn in life, if you don't have a health, you cannot use that, and you can't be useful for your family, you can't be useful for your society, you can't be useful for your organization, you can't be useful for yourself. The moment this thinking came to me when I was young itself. So even when I was in the job, getting up early in the morning was only because we were very poor. So because the context came, so I am saying, we were very poor. So I used to sell newspaper. I used to deliver newspaper home to home. I used to sell newspaper on the road. And because I used to deliver newspapers, so I had to get up at 3:45. So 3:45 was my waking up time when I was in class 7, 8, 9.
Wow.
And so that's a habit build up to get up at 3:45, pick up the newspaper, sell, and then come back, have breakfast, bath, breakfast, then study, go to school or college, wherever you are supposed to go, and then do the study. So the morning get up was the from my childhood, but then that habit remained with me. And when I came to the job, or when the family when married, so I was conscious that I will be always healthy. So getting up early, doing exercise, eating right food. Now, eating right food could be only when you are connected with the health world. How can you be connected with the health world? Either you study some magazine or newspapers. So those days I used to buy. There was a health magazine published by the Magna, and I think they publish. But of course now I don't buy. I stopped, I think, about 7-8 years back, because many things are available and on Quora. There's a site called Quora, so on that everything is available. But I've been reading the health magazine when I was, I think, just maybe 25 years old from that time, and going to gym or the boxing or swimming or judo, karate, everything I did to be connected with the health consciousness. And even today, getting up early in the morning, going to golf, or going to gym, going to walk, eating right food, sleeping at least 7 hours, always leading a balanced life, eating good food. It's not that I don't eat sweets, or I eat all the things, pizza, sweets, I like them. But that maybe 2%, 3% of the total food which I take in a week. But most of the foods are the healthy food, because I need to be more conscious that you are heading an organization, and you are a family head. I think you are a responsible person, so you cannot be callous. So I need to be responsible. So I think responsibility also has made me more conscious. I was conscious from the beginning, but I think I'm more conscious that I need to be healthy.
So, first, the consciousness that you need to be healthy because you're responsible towards an organization, your family, and to yourself in general is something that started driving you. What I also found very inspiring is that at the age of 28, you got into it, you were reading the magazines and internalizing content around it.
Yeah.
Mr. Yadav, you are very busy now. There are several demands on you, right? I have a lot of young managers, mid-level managers, senior executives as well, with whom I have similar discussions. And a lot of times I hear, Vivek, time नहीं मिलता है, इतना pressure रहता है, हम लोग इसके लिए कहाँ से time निकालें? What would your advice be to them?
In my opinion, if a person is disciplined, and he has a scheduled time management, he will not have a short of time. I don't have a short of time. And I thank Mr. Saru Regnegar, who is no more in this world. He organized a program. He used to organize a conduct a training program on time management. So I attended his program. I think must be about when I was in the job. So must be about, I think, 35 years back. I attended his program. And after attending his program, I learned that what is the value of the time. Every minute we lose is a lost.
Correct.
So we need to do the correct thing and in the right time, within the time. That is what I learned from him. So right from beginning, having a diary. Of course, now you have a diary, you have a mobile, you have a laptop, many things, in those days, from diary, I went to the Casio. There was a Casio diary also, so I used to have the Casio diary. So I think one should have a calendar, and you have a calendar for the year. What important things like all the birthdays, all the anniversaries mapped into your mobile. All the events of the month is mapped into your mobile. All the days which you have committed, like today I have a 6 meeting. I mean, if I finish with you, after that I have another 5 meeting, and that will carry till about 7 o'clock. But each meeting I am going to attend, and I cannot afford to miss. So if you are diarized and you are committed to that, to the time. Like if I start a meeting, the first language I'll use, okay, so I have 30 minutes. So everybody knows that we have a 30 minutes. So in 30 minutes we have to finish. So no review meeting. All my conferences, all my seminars, which I attend or I conduct in our organization, in conferences even, we never delay. We will conduct in time. So first is the commitment to the time. Second is the scheduling yourself. Third is the committing to that schedule which you have made, and knowing what you are supposed to do, diarizing yourself. And you have a big thing. You have a Google, you have a mobile, which is your big asset in my opinion. If you input, if you make entry of all your, I mean, in our company who are reporting IT, 21 people reports to me. Their birthday, the first call I will call. They will get call from, because it is diarized and every year it comes to me. All the branches which I have opened, their anniversary, it is the first I will give the SMS and WhatsApp, that today is the 6th anniversary or 7th anniversary of this branch. Please congratulate to this gentleman or to this branch, all the people. It is only because I have made entry of all those events in my diary. And all I do in the morning, I see in my calendar, and I know that I have a commitment, this 6 commitment. But beyond that 6, I will not do. Any new things which will come to me, I will take on my vacant slotted diary. I will not take on the same. I will take only when something is very emergency. Then I'll cut one or two, and then I'll inform that this meeting I cannot do that. I will include the other thing. If somebody does like this way, in my opinion, time is there. I still, my grandchildren, I play football with them. I spend time with them. I play with my wife also. We play card, we play Ludo, and I think almost every day I do that. So in spite of running a company, I think you can do this also. I have vacations twice in a year, and I definitely take the vacations twice in a year. I play golf also. I have a time for golf also. And I meet my school friends or my Pada friends once in a month. So these also I do, all is required that scheduling your all the activities in advance.
Scheduling activities in advance and also maintaining a discipline to follow that schedule. So what I'm hearing from you is like, I will make sure that I plan it out. And I also hear you've disciplined yourself, right? Okay, what is important? I should be reaching out to people on their birthdays. I should be reaching out to branches on their anniversaries. I should have my schedule. I should follow that schedule and not just start doing anything that comes my way.
Yeah.
Very fair. Very fair. Mr. Yadav, thank you so much for this time of yours. We went a little overboard on time, but I think every minute of it was very well spent and very well spent for me as I learned so much from you. As we part ways, any last thoughts that you'd like to leave the listeners with?
My last thought is, Vivek, as a human, when God has created, it is very precious. Now that I have gone through the life so much, it's very precious. I think every step we take, right from when we come out of the college, one should be very cautious. One should remain healthy. One should be very cautious to keep connect with the family. One should be very connected with the business or the job which he is doing. One should be very fair. One should like the job and do in such a way that it is a memorable journey and people remembers you that yes, you did something for this universe.
It's a very precious gift, and make sure we are conscious of this particular gift and contribute in a way that it is improving things around us.
Yeah.
Very valid thoughts. Mr. Yadav, thank you so much for your time.
Thank
Pleasure
you.
having you with us. Namaskar.
Thank you. Thank you, Vivek. Thank you. All the best to you. Thank you.